We all have that nagging voice in the back of our heads, questioning our choices and second-guessing our decisions. It whispers doubts, fueled by the perceived judgments of others. This constant concern about what other people think can be a heavy burden, weighing us down and preventing us from living authentically. It's a universal struggle, one that many of us face daily. But what if you could silence that voice and step into a life free from the shackles of external validation? Imagine a life where you pursue your passions without hesitation, where your choices are guided by your own internal compass, not the opinions of others. Imagine the freedom of expressing yourself fully, without fear of judgment or criticism. This is the life that awaits you when you learn to stop caring about what others think. It's a journey, not a destination, but the rewards are immeasurable. This essay will explore the reasons behind this common struggle and offer practical solutions to help you break free. Seeking social acceptance made sense. In tribal societies, belonging to the group was essential for survival. Rejection could mean isolation and vulnerability, a threat to our very existence. This deep-seated need for belonging has carried over into modern times, influencing our behavior even in situations where social acceptance is not a matter of life or death. We're wired to seek connection and approval, even if it comes at the expense of our own individuality. Societal pressures also play a significant role. We are constantly bombarded with messages telling us how we should look, act, and think. Social media, advertising, and even our own families and friends can contribute to this pressure to conform. We are often judged based on superficial criteria, such as appearance, wealth, and status. This constant barrage of external expectations can make it difficult to stay true to ourselves. Our upbringing and childhood experiences can also shape our tendency to seek external validation. If we were raised in an environment where our worth was contingent upon pleasing others, we may have developed a deep-seated need for approval. Children who were constantly criticized or whose achievements were never acknowledged may grow up believing that their value is determined by the opinions of others. These early experiences can create a pattern of seeking validation that persists into adulthood. The good news is that while these factors may have contributed to our current behavior, they do not define us. We have the power to rewire our thinking and break free from the need for constant approval. By understanding the underlying reasons for our behavior, we can begin to challenge these ingrained patterns and create new, healthier ways of relating to ourselves and the world around us. It's a process, but it's a journey worth taking. Constantly seeking validation from others can have a detrimental impact on our mental and emotional well-being. It can lead to anxiety and insecurity as we become overly concerned with pleasing everyone and avoiding criticism. This constant state of hypervigilance can be exhausting, draining our energy and leaving us feeling depleted. We may become people pleasers, sacrificing our own needs and desires in order to gain the approval of others. This constant need for external validation can also stifle our personal growth and development. We may avoid taking risks or pursuing our passions for fear of judgment or failure. We may hold ourselves back from expressing our true selves, afraid of what others might think. This can lead to a sense of unfulfillment and a feeling that we are not living up to our full potential. We become trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and limitation. Our relationships can also suffer when we are overly concerned with what others think. We may become overly sensitive to criticism, taking even constructive feedback personally. We may struggle to assert our own needs and boundaries, fearing that doing so will lead to rejection. This can create imbalances in our relationships, where we constantly prioritize the needs of others over our own. Genuine connection becomes difficult when we are not being true to ourselves. The constant pursuit of external validation can also lead to a diminished sense of self-worth. We become so reliant on the opinions of others that we lose touch with our own internal compass. We begin to believe that our value is determined by external factors rather than by our inherent worth as human beings. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy and a lack of self-confidence. Breaking free from this cycle requires a shift in focus, from external validation to internal self-acceptance. The journey to overcoming the need for external validation begins with self-awareness. Take time to reflect on your own behavior and identify situations where you are most likely to seek approval from others. Understanding your triggers is the first step towards breaking free from this pattern. Journaling can be a helpful tool for exploring your thoughts and feelings around this issue. Challenge your negative thoughts. Often, our fear of judgment is based on irrational beliefs and assumptions. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Often, the consequences we imagine are far worse than reality. Challenge the validity of your negative thoughts and replace them with more positive and realistic affirmations. This process of cognitive restructuring can be transformative. Focus on building your self-esteem. When you have a strong sense of self-worth, you are less likely to seek validation from others. Engage in activities that make you feel good about yourself, whether it's pursuing a hobby, spending time in nature, or connecting with loved ones. Celebrate your accomplishments, no matter how small. Recognize your strengths and talents, nurture your self-compassion, set boundaries, and learn to say no. It's okay to prioritize your own needs and desires. You don't have to please everyone all the time. Setting healthy boundaries is essential for protecting your emotional well-being. Practice saying no to requests that drain your energy or compromise your values. This will help you reclaim your time and energy and focus on what truly matters to you. Consider the story of Sarah, a talented artist who constantly sought approval from critics and galleries. She would second-guess her work, constantly tweaking and revising it to fit the perceived expectations of others. This led to creative paralysis and a deep sense of frustration. Finally, she realized that she needed to create for herself, not for others. She embraced her unique style, even if it wasn't universally acclaimed. This newfound freedom unleashed her creativity, and she began producing her most authentic and fulfilling work. Then, there's the story of David, a successful businessman who was constantly seeking validation from his colleagues and superiors. He would work long hours, sacrificing his personal life in pursuit of recognition and praise. This led to burnout and a growing sense of emptiness. He realized that true fulfillment came not from external accolades, but from living a life aligned with his values. He began prioritizing his family and his passions, finding greater joy and meaning in his life. Maria, a young woman struggling with social anxiety, constantly worried about what others thought of her. She would avoid social situations, fearing judgment and criticism. This led to isolation and a diminished sense of self-worth. Through therapy and self-reflection, she learned to challenge her negative thoughts and embrace her imperfections. She began to put herself out there, gradually building confidence and forming genuine connections. These stories illustrate the transformative power of letting go of the need for external validation. They demonstrate that true freedom and fulfillment come from within, not from the opinions of others. They remind us that we all have the capacity to overcome this challenge and live authentically. It's a journey, but it's a journey worth taking. It's about shifting your focus from external validation to internal self-acceptance. It's about recognizing your inherent worth, regardless of what others may think. It's about embracing your imperfections and celebrating your unique qualities. It takes courage to step outside the comfort zone of seeking approval and embrace your authentic self. It requires a willingness to be vulnerable, to be seen for who you truly are, flaws and all. But the rewards are immeasurable. When you live authentically, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. You are free to pursue your passions without hesitation, to express yourself fully, and to create a life that is truly your own. You are no longer bound by the limitations of others' expectations. You are free to be you. Embrace this freedom. Remember, you are worthy of love and acceptance, just as you are. You don't need to earn it or prove it to anyone. Your value comes from within. Embrace your authentic self and step into the life you were meant to live. The world is waiting for you.